Hi, welcome back. Collectors are paying big money for these rare Australian 50-cent coins, some worth up to $50,000. Check your change before it's too late. First up, 1994 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring an Aboriginal family design. In the heart of Australia's numismatic history lies a coin that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. It's more than metal, it's a tribute, a story, a recognition. The 1994 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring an Aboriginal family design, stands as one of the most culturally significant and symbolically powerful pieces ever released by the Royal Australian Mint. Issued to commemorate the International Year of the Family, this coin wasn't merely a celebration of familial bonds, it was a statement. And Australia, with its deep Indigenous roots, made the bold and respectful decision to feature an Aboriginal family at the center of that narrative. It was the first time an Indigenous Australian family was prominently displayed on circulating currency, and it resonated deeply across the continent. The reverse design, created by artist Horst Hanna, portrays a dignified Aboriginal family, father, mother, and child standing together under a stylized shelter. Their posture is simple, grounded, yet deeply moving. Around them, radiating lines represent unity, protection, and togetherness. The figures aren't just generic representations. They carry the weight of tradition, resilience, and survival. Every line etched into the metal symbolizes thousands of years of culture, storytelling, and family strength that predates colonial Australia by millennia. This was a coin released during a time when Australia was slowly beginning to reconcile with its past. The Mabo decision had been passed just 2 years earlier, legally recognizing native title. The coin's release in 1994 echoed the broader social consciousness rising across the country. A desire to embrace and respect the oldest, continuing culture in the world. Now let's look at the specifications. This 50-cent piece retains the iconic dodecagonal shape, 12 smooth sides that have defined the Australian 50-cent coin since 1969. It's composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a robust and lustrous silver appearance. The obverse, like all Australian coins of this era, features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makhlouf. In terms of mintage, the 1994 Aboriginal family coin wasn't produced in massive quantities, like some other 50-cent issues. Around 10 million coins were struck for general circulation. But because of its symbolic power and unique design, it has become highly collectible, not only among coin enthusiasts but also among cultural collectors, educators, and institutions focused on Indigenous representation. In circulated condition, the coin still fetches modest value, typically ranging between $200 and $500 depending on where, but in uncirculated or mint condition, especially in original Royal Mint packaging or as part of year sets, it can be worth significantly more, sometimes up to $25,000 to $4,000, depending on market demand. Graded examples preserved at the highest levels, such as MS65 and above, are even rarer and increasingly sought after. Yet, the true value of this coin isn't monetary. It's historical. It's cultural. It's a reminder that the story of Australia doesn't begin in 1788. It began tens of thousands of years earlier, around fire circles beneath vast skies, on land passed down through countless generations. Collectors who hold this coin often don't let it go. It becomes a conversation piece, a way to introduce children and grandchildren to the real, sometimes painful but always powerful history of this great land. And because it stands as one of the few Australian circulating coins to directly honor Aboriginal people, its cultural value continues to grow every single year. Number 2, 2004 Australian 50-cent coin featuring native wildlife, wombat, kangaroo, and cockatoo. Australia is a land teeming with unique life forms, creatures that exist nowhere else on Earth, wildlife that has not only shaped the continent's ecosystem but also its culture, art, and even its national identity. In 2004, the Royal Australian Mint decided to celebrate this remarkable biodiversity with a special 50-cent coin that quickly caught the attention of collectors across the world. This coin, part of the Australia's Volunteers Coin Program, was designed to highlight the invaluable contribution of volunteers to the Australian community. But it wasn't just about humans. It was about all of Australia, and that includes its iconic fauna. The design cleverly weaves together symbolic representations of a wombat, a kangaroo, and a cockatoo, encapsulating the spirit of cooperation and natural harmony. The reverse side, designed by Vladimir Gottwald, features these three animals standing amid a symbolic environment, a balanced circle that reflects interconnection and support. The wombat, grounded and determined, represents tenacity and community service. The kangaroo, ever alert and strong, symbolizes action, movement, and purpose. The cockatoo, perched proudly, brings an element of freedom and voice, often associated with volunteer advocacy and outreach. This coin tells a story not just of wildlife, but of character, teamwork, and shared responsibility. And what makes this coin particularly engaging is its dual layer of meaning. It operates both as a celebration of native species and as a subtle nod to the diverse roles that Australian volunteers play, from bushfire services to wildlife rescue, from aged care to local footy clubs. This 50-cent coin maintains the classic 12-sided shape and is made from copper nickel. The obverse carries the image of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley, which was introduced in 1998 and used through to 2019. Now let's talk mintage. Over 11.1 million of these coins were released into circulation. While that means the coin isn't exceptionally rare in the absolute sense, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is much harder than most people realize. Many were released directly into circulation and heavily used, so mint state examples are rising in value. In average circulated condition, these coins typically sell for $100 to $300, but in uncirculated grade or mint packs, they can reach $1,000 to $25,000. Proof issues and year sets command even higher premiums, depending on the packaging and condition. What makes this coin a collector favorite isn't just its design, it's the emotional resonance. For Australians who have given time to their communities, or who have received help during floods, fires, or hardships, this coin is a symbol. It says your contribution matters, and it does so through animals that every Aussie instantly recognizes. So whether you're a wildlife lover, a volunteer, or just someone who appreciates the hidden stories behind everyday coins, the 2004 50-cent Volunteer Wildlife Coin is one that deserves a place in your collection, not just for its aesthetic appeal, but for the meaning it carries. Number 3. 2012 Australian 50-cent coin. Featuring the Year of the Dragon, Chinese Lunar New Year, across the globe, the dragon is a creature of awe, power, and mystery. It's a symbol that spans centuries, dynasties, and dreams. And in 2012, the Royal Australian Mint brought this mythic force to life on one of the most visually stunning and culturally significant 50-cent coins ever minted in Australia, the Year of the Dragon coin, celebrating the Chinese Lunar New Year. This release was part of Australia's official recognition of its multicultural landscape, particularly honoring its large and vibrant Chinese-Australian community. The Year of the Dragon is considered especially auspicious in Chinese culture, associated with leadership, ambition, luck, and strength. People born under this sign are said to be driven, charismatic, and destined for greatness. The reverse design of the coin features an intricate Chinese dragon coiling with dynamic motion across the surface, its mouth open, its scales shimmering in detailed engraving, and its limbs extended in a powerful stance. This dragon is a force of energy. Above it, the Chinese character for dragon, long, is boldly etched. The entire composition radiates life and movement, capturing the essence of the creature's celestial authority. The artwork, designed by Wojciech Pietronik, is a masterclass in balancing Eastern symbolism with modern coin artistry. Every aspect, from the dragon's whiskers to the wisps of cloud curling around its body, was sculpted to reflect traditional Chinese dragon illustrations while still fitting within the geometric confines of the coin's 12-sided frame. On the obverse, we again see Queen Elizabeth II, portrayed by Ian Rank Broadley. It's this juxtaposition, the monarch of the Commonwealth on one side, and the mythical emperor of the skies on the other, that makes the coin a brilliant representation of cultural fusion. Mintage for this coin was limited. Only 2.2 million were produced for circulation. This low mintage, combined with the coin's stunning visual appeal and cultural significance, has made it a prime target for collectors, both in Australia and abroad. Lunar New Year coins have strong collector bases, especially within the Asian market, and the dragon, being the most desirable sign, is always the most sought after. Values for circulated examples start around $400 to $800, but coins in mint condition can fetch between $2,000 and $4,000, with special sets or proof strikes commanding even higher prices. It's not uncommon to see graded examples selling above $5,000 in MS-67 or higher, especially when certified by reputable numismatic services. But this coin is more than an investment. It's a bridge between cultures. It honors the richness of Chinese heritage while affirming its place within modern Australian society. For Chinese Australian families, gifting these coins during Lunar New Year is a tradition, a way to share blessings of prosperity and strength. The 2012 Year of the Dragon, 50-cent coin is a perfect embodiment of the evolving Australian identity, one rooted in tradition, yet open to the stories, symbols, and strengths of many cultures. It's an artwork, a keepsake, a lucky charm, and a collector's treasure, all in one. Number 4, 2008 Australian 50-cent coin, commemorating the Year of the Scout. Sometimes, a coin becomes far more than a piece of currency. It transforms into a symbol of values, leadership, and the unwavering spirit of service. In 2008, the Royal Australian Mint released a stunning 50-cent coin to commemorate the Year of the Scout, marking the 100th anniversary of Scouting in Australia. And in doing so, they didn't just strike a coin. They struck a chord with millions of Australians, whose lives were shaped by this iconic global movement. Scouting began in Australia in 1908, just a year after it was founded in England by Robert Baden-Powell. Since then, it has inspired generations of young Australians to embrace adventure, responsibility, and community service. By 2008, more than 2 million young people had passed through the ranks of Scouts Australia. The coin issued that year serves as a lasting tribute to their collective journey. The reverse design of the coin is rich in symbolism. At its center sits the distinctive World Scout emblem, featuring the fleur-de-lis wrapped in a rope tied with a reef knot. This simple yet powerful symbol represents unity, global connection, and the shared ideals of all Scouts around the world. Behind the emblem is a stylized globe, indicating Scouting's international reach. The background is filled with radiating lines, suggesting the spreading of knowledge, values, and influence from local communities to the wider world. Surrounding the central motif are the words, Year of the Scout, Australia, 2008. There's a quiet nobility in that inscription. It acknowledges a century of commitment to teaching youth essential life skills, resilience, respect, survival, and service. On the obverse, as expected, is the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, and used on all Australian coins from 1998 through 2019. This coin retained the traditional 50-cent specifications, dodecagonal shape, 31 cm diameter, and a copper-nickel composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. But while its shape and size are familiar, its message is uniquely inspiring. In terms of mintage, the 2008 Year of the Scout 50-cent coin had a moderate release of 3 million coins. This relatively low mintage, combined with the enduring popularity of the Scouting movement, has ensured that the coin remains in high demand. In circulated condition, this coin often trades between 200 and 500, but uncirculated or mint-packaged examples regularly fetch 15,000 to 3,000, graded MS66, or higher coins have been sold for even more at numismatic auctions. But its value, once again, isn't just monetary. Many former Scouts keep this coin as a personal memento, a reminder of camping trips, leadership badges, and friendships forged under the Southern Stars. It's a tribute to those who lived by the Scout law and promised to do their best in service to others. Number 5, 2001 Australian 50-cent coin, commemorating the centenary of Federation for the Northern Territory. The year 2001 was monumental in Australia's national story. It marked 100 years since the 6 separate colonies, united to form a single federation, the birth of the Commonwealth of Australia in 1901. To honor this momentous occasion, the Royal Australian Mint released a series of commemorative 50-cent coins for each Australian state and territory. One of the most powerful among them is the 2001 50-cent coin commemorating the Northern Territory. Unlike any other part of Australia, the Northern Territory carries a distinct identity defined by vast landscapes, rich Aboriginal cultures, and a resilient population shaped by both isolation and innovation. The coin's design pays homage to this unique identity in exquisite detail. The reverse design by artist Joan Hudson is immediately striking. At its center is the Sturt's Desert Rose, the official floral emblem of the Northern Territory. With its 5 vibrant petals, the flower is not just beautiful, it's hardy, enduring the harsh conditions of the arid outback. Behind it, you'll find a series of bold, geometric indigenous motifs, representing the ancient cultures that have called the territory home for over 65,000 years. The design is framed within a stylized shield, reminiscent of the territory's coat of arms. The balance of natural beauty and First Nations heritage creates a piece that is as informative as it is respectful, a celebration of diversity and depth within Australia's federation. The obverse, like all other coins in the series, features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley. This coin, like the others in the Federation series, was struck in the traditional 50-cent format, dodecagonal, Krupernickel 15 grams. But while the shape is standard, the story behind it is anything but. Only 2.1 million of the Northern Territory coins were produced, giving it a relatively low mintage compared to circulating commemoratives. That scarcity, combined with the historical context and aesthetic appeal, makes this coin especially sought after by collectors trying to complete the full Federation set. In circulated condition, it typically fetches between $300 and $600, but uncirculated examples can bring in $1,000 to $4,000, depending on packaging and grade. Coins graded MS67 and above can reach significantly higher prices, especially for complete sets. But more than value, this coin is a snapshot in time. It represents a century of progress for the out territory, from a land barely mapped at the time of Federation, to a region that now plays a central role in Australia's national defense, agriculture, and cultural heritage. Whether you're a collector or a student of history, the 2001 Northern Territory Federation coin is a must-have piece of Australian identity, bold, proud, and deeply rooted in both tradition and transformation. Number 6. 2012 Australian 50-cent coin featuring the Australian coat of arms. Some coins tell stories. Others symbolize authority, pride, and unity. The 2012 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring the official Australian coat of arms, does both, and it does so with regal precision. Although the coat of arms is a familiar motif used on 50-cent coins since 1966, the 2012 version was part of a special uncirculated mint release, designed to celebrate Australia's national identity in a fresh, elevated form. While it was not a new design per se, its presentation and purpose gave it renewed prominence and desirability in the numismatic world. Let's begin with the design itself. The Australian coat of arms features a shield containing the badges of the 6 states, New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania. These badges symbolize the original 6 colonies that federated to form Australia. The shield is supported on either side by 2 of the country's most iconic animals, the kangaroo and the emu, creatures chosen, not just for their national recognition, but because they are said to never move backward, symbolizing progress. Above the shield sits the Commonwealth Star, also known as the Federation Star, with its 7 points representing the unity of the 6 states and the territories. The entire composition rests on a bed of golden wattle, Australia's national floral emblem. The level of detail in the engraving is exquisite. The feathers of the emu, the musculature of the kangaroo, the scroll work beneath the shield, all are rendered with meticulous precision, capturing both majesty and meaning in every curve. On the obverse, the familiar effigy of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley reminds us of Australia's enduring constitutional monarchy. The 2012 release of this coin was primarily as part of the mint-packaged year set and not widely circulated. As such, these coins were struck to a higher quality than typical circulation strikes. Most are in uncirculated or near-proof condition, making them highly collectible. Their composition remained standard: 75% copper, 25% nickel, dodecagonal, 1555 grams. Because this coin wasn't mass-released into everyday circulation, many Australians have never actually seen or held this version of the coat of arms coin in its 2012 mint state. That rarity elevates its desirability, particularly among collectors aiming to complete year sets or acquire pristine examples of national iconography. Prices for the 2012 coat of arms 50-cent coin range from $8,000 to $12,000 for uncirculated coins, depending on condition and packaging. In proof sets or as part of limited edition releases, they can command even higher values. But again, its true value lies in its symbolism. This coin is a badge of national unity, a reminder of who Australia is and how far it's come. It links the past with the present, a federation born in 1901, a people forged through waves of migration. Number 7. 1991 Australian 50-cent coin. commemorating the 25th anniversary of decimal currency. In the grand timeline of Australian history, one major milestone marked a leap into modernity, the transition from pounds, shillings and pence to decimal currency. It was on 14 February 1966 that Australia officially embraced the decimal system. And 25 years later, in 1991, that transformative moment was honored with one of the most intriguing and symbolically rich 50-cent coins ever struck by the Royal Australian Mint. The 1991 Australian 50-cent coin, commemorating the 25th anniversary of decimal currency, isn't just a nod to monetary reform. It's a celebration of national identity, design evolution, and the power of simplicity in communication. Let's begin with the reverse design, created by renowned Australian artist and sculptor Horst Hahn. At first glance, you'll see something unmistakably nostalgic. The very same decimal conversion logo that featured heavily in 1966 promotional campaigns. It's a clean, minimalistic design featuring a pair of hands exchanging coins, surrounded by concentric circles representing progress and unity. The words 25th anniversary of decimal currency encircle the image, anchoring the message in time. The hands are a powerful metaphor. They represent the transfer of knowledge, the passage of time, and the cooperation required during one of Australia's most ambitious logistical undertakings. Remember, over 1,000 million new coins were minted for the decimal changeover. That's an entire nation retrained to understand cents instead of shillings. And this coin honors not just the moment, but the people behind it, the teachers, bank workers, retailers, and citizens who adapted with grace. As always, the obverse features Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted in the Raphael Makhlouf portrait style, which was used on Australian coins from 1985 until 1998. The refined elegance of this effigy beautifully contrasts with the modernist reverse, symbolizing the old meeting the new. This commemorative coin retains the iconic Australian 50 cent. Specifications: dodecagonal shape, cupro-nickel composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel, a mass of 15.85 grams, and a diameter of 31.51 millimeter. It's substantial in hand and unmistakable in a collection. Now let's talk about availability and value. Roughly 4.7 million of these coins were released into general circulation. That number places it in the moderate rarity category. While not exceedingly scarce, its anniversary significance, unique reverse design, and the nostalgia it inspires make it one of the most collected 50-cent coins from the early 1990s. In circulated condition, it's often worth $100 to $300, but uncirculated specimens, especially in Royal Australian Mint packaging, can fetch between $10,000 and $25,000, with proof quality strikes even more valuable depending on condition and grading. Number 8. 2005 Australian 50-cent coin, commemorating World War II Remembrance. Some coins are designed to commemorate events. Others are forged to remember sacrifice. The 2005 Australian 50-cent coin, released to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the end of World War II, falls into the second category. It doesn't just mark a date, it carries the weight of memory, honor, and national pride. It stands in silent tribute to the courage of those who served, fought, and gave everything in humanity's darkest hour. World War II lasted from 1939 to 1945, and by its end, more than 1 million Australians had served in the armed forces. Tens of thousands never returned. Countless others came home changed forever. The 2005 commemorative coin tells their story not with words, but through a haunting and powerful design that resonates with emotion. Designed by Wojciech Pietranek, the reverse of this 50-cent coin features a striking image, a solemn silhouette of a lone soldier, head bowed in remembrance. Behind him stands a tall cross, a universal symbol of sacrifice. The landscape around him fades into a war-torn horizon, broken only by rays of light, symbolizing hope, peace, and the dawn of a new world forged by the end of global conflict. To the right, the words World War 1939-1945 are engraved in a stark, commanding font. Above them, in smaller but deeply meaningful text, 60th Anniversary 2005. What's especially powerful about this design is its austere restraint. No battle scenes, no glory, just reflection. It captures what every Anzac Day service tries to convey: the quiet, enduring pain of loss, and the everlasting gratitude of a free nation. The obverse features the Ian Rank Broadley effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, consistent with all Australian coins from 1998 through 2019. This coin, like its circulating 50-cent counterparts, has a 12-sided dodecagonal shape, a weight of 15.55 grams, and is made from copper nickel. But while it may look similar in size to other coins, its symbolic weight is far heavier. In terms of mintage, over 15.9 million were released into circulation. That means it's not rare in quantity, but it's priceless in meaning. Many Australians keep it not for investment, but for memory. Some families have framed it alongside wartime medals. Others gift it to younger generations, encouraging them to ask questions about grandparents or great-grandparents who served. In circulated condition, this coin usually sells for $100 to $300, but uncirculated examples, especially those from mint sets or in brilliant uncirculated quality, can range from $18,000 to $2,000. The special proofs and graded MS67 Plus coins, particularly in original packaging, can reach upwards of $4,000 or more depending on demand. Yet again, the monetary value misses the point. This is a coin of reflection, of gratitude, of solemn remembrance. Number 9, 1977 Australian 50-cent coin, commemorating the Silver Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth X. In 1977, the world paused to celebrate a monarch's unprecedented milestone, a moment that marked 25 years of reign by Queen Elizabeth as, for Australia, a key part of the Commonwealth. This occasion was especially significant. That same year, the Royal Australian Mint issued a commemorative 50-cent coin, the first of its kind since decimalisation, to honour the Silver Jubilee of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II. This coin wasn't just a royal souvenir. It was a piece of shared history, a symbol of the evolving relationship between Australia and the Crown, and a tribute to an era of transition, diplomacy, and stability under the Queen's rule. The reverse design, created by British artist Stuart Devlin, is striking and deeply symbolic. At its center is a stylized crown encircled by a radiating pattern, reminiscent of the regalia worn during royal coronations. The image is intentionally modernist, reflecting the Queen's role as both a traditional monarch and a forward-looking leader in a rapidly changing world. Surrounding the central design is the inscription, Elizabeth II, Silver Jubilee, 1950 to 1950. These dates mark the span from Queen Elizabeth I's ascension to the throne following the death of her father, King George VI, to the 25th year of her reign, a reign that would ultimately become the longest in British history before her passing in 2022. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machine, which was used on Australian coins from 1966 to 1984. Her youthful profile, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, offers a serene counterbalance to the elaborate Jubilee design on the reverse. This commemorative coin carries the same specifications as the standard 50-cent pieces. Dodecagonal 12-sided, 3151 mm in diameter, 1555 grams in weight. Composed of copper nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. But what sets it apart is its historical significance, being Australia's first circulating commemorative coin after decimalisation in 1966. In terms of mintage, this coin was produced in massive numbers. Over 25 million were struck, making it one of the most accessible commemorative coins for collectors. It was enthusiastically embraced by the public. Many kept the coin as a keepsake, tucked away in jewelry boxes or handed down through generations as a royal memento. Due to its high mintage, circulated examples are still common and typically sell for $100 to $300. However, uncirculated coins, particularly those from mint rolls or original Royal Australian Mint packaging, can fetch between $1,500 and $2,500. Graded examples in MS65 or higher are especially collectible. For royal watchers, monarchists, and coin collectors alike, the 97 Silver Jubilee coin remains a beloved piece, not only because of its design, but also because it captures a rare blend of loyalty, tradition, and modernity. Number 10, 1970 Australian 50-cent coin, commemorating the bicentenary of Captain James Cook's exploration of Australia's east coast. In 1970, Australia reached back into its colonial origins to commemorate an event that would forever change the continent's future, the arrival of Lieutenant James Cook aboard the HMS Endeavour, as he charted the east coast of Australia in 1770 to mark the 200th anniversary of that historic voyage. The Royal Australian Mint released a beautifully designed and richly symbolic 50-cent coin, one of the most iconic commemorative coins in Australian numismatic history. This was a moment not just of celebration, but of reflection. The bicentenary raised important questions about discovery, contact, colonial impact, and the shaping of a national identity. The 1970 50-cent coin doesn't try to answer all those questions, but it captures the spirit of the age and the legacy of exploration in a single stunning design. The reverse, created by master engraver Stuart Devlin, features a dynamic, stylized portrait of Captain James Cook. His gaze is fixed forward, symbolizing exploration and vision. Behind him, etched in fine detail, is the outline of the eastern Australian coastline, representing the territory Cook mapped during his 1770 voyage. Surrounding the portrait is the inscription, Captain Cook Bicentenary, 1770-1970. Devlin's artistic rendering avoids the rigidity of typical portraiture. Instead, it captures the adventurous spirit of a man whose journey would lead to centuries of European settlement and whose legacy would be remembered as both pioneering and controversial. The obverse features Queen Elizabeth II, as sculpted by Arnold Machine. This was the standard portrait used during that period, featuring Her Majesty wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Specifications for the 1970 commemorative coin are consistent with post-1969 Australian 50-cent coins. 12-sided dodecagonal shape, 3151 mm in diameter, 1555 grams in weight. Cupronical composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel. In terms of production, this coin was heavily distributed, with a mintage of 16.5 million, ensuring it was accessible to the general public and widely collected even at the time of release. It was a true circulating commemorative, not confined to sets or special issues, meaning it likely passed through the hands of countless Australians throughout the 1970s and beyond. Because of its wide mintage, circulated versions are commonly found today and typically valued between $150 and $200, but examples in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition, especially those preserved in mint rolls or coin sets, can be worth $15,000 to $3,000 or more. Professionally graded MS65 Plus coins are rarer and increasingly sought after by serious collectors, particularly those completing historical theme collections. The significance of this coin goes far beyond its face value or even its market price. It stands as a milestone of Australian numismatic history, the second ever commemorative 50-cent coin after decimalization and the first to directly reference exploration and national origins. For many collectors, it represents both a starting point, as it was one of the earliest commemorative coins to capture public imagination, and a conversation starter. Today, Captain Cook's legacy is viewed through multiple lenses, and this coin continues to symbolize that complex dialogue. In your hand, the 1970 Captain Cook Bicentenary coin feels like a fragment of the nation's formative years, a mix of discovery, transformation, and a story still unfolding. From the hands of history to the pockets of the present, these 50-cent coins are more than metal. They're miniature monuments to the moments, people, and values that shaped Australia. Each one tells a different story. A royal milestone, a voyage of discovery, a tribute to sacrifice, a celebration of unity. So next time you hold a coin, don't just see its face value. Look closer, because inside every edge, every curve, and every design lies a piece of our shared past, waiting to be remembered, rediscovered, and passed on. Thanks for joining me on this numismatic journey. If you love coins, history, and the hidden gems of Australia's currency, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's a whole treasury of stories still to uncover, and we're just getting started.